Once upon a time in a state that shone bright, where human and natural resources brought nothing but hope, where smiles and warmth distinguished its people, a home of resilience and never-say-die spirit, land of the greats, land of the brave. Everything pointed to a glorious future, until suddenly. Even though the past administration did its own bit to set Abia back on the path to greatness, Abians simply want more. From the commercial city of Aba to Okigwe, Umuahia to Arochukwu, Bende to Ukwa, and beyond, the call to consolidate on the success of the past administration has never been any louder. The big question is, in a state known as God's own state, where did we get it wrong?
Abia State is a state blessed by God. Good people, fertile land, very enterprising people, all the resources, an oil-producing state. Unfortunately, we have been bedeviled by bad leadership.
The past administration may have done their best, but the best they did was not good enough for Aba because the people complained so bitterly.
Since the military era till today, in fact, since the Mbakwe era, when Mbakwe did a number of things to improve the social condition of this area, because Aba was part of Imo State then. Since after that, from the military till today, the democratic era, all of us are witnesses to the poor status of the social infrastructure in this state called Abia.
If you want to compare Aba Township with other major towns in this country, you will discover that not much was done here. Roads were left, public utilities were abandoned, not too much was done.
Everything was grinding to a halt. The industries in Aba were closing down. People were dislocating.
We have many companies now Aba here, like Nigerian breweries. They left because of multiple transactions. The environment wasn't conducive. We have Pfizer. That company died. These are companies that can offer millions and thousands of jobs to Abians.
To crown it all, kidnappers were all over the place. Armed robbers were all over the place. Aba became ungovernable.
All the primary schools in the state, no roof, no teachers. Teachers are there standing. The pupils are there, no seats for them to sit. And what the last admission did was they now decided to hand over schools to the missions or the original owners when they discovered that they are making education a mockery in the state.
I feel sad looking at the schools. I feel sad seeing children not getting what they should have in terms of quality education, quality tuition, and the care that goes with it.
So the previous government got it wrong. One, they didn't develop education. How many public health, public educational institutions can you take your child to today? We were products of public health institutions. I went to a school in my village that was comparable. People were coming from Port Harcourt to bring their wards to get educated in another college in Abreba. Where are those ones? Where are the government colleges in Umuahia? Where are the government colleges in Uzuakole? World-class secondary schools. Again, that has to do with leadership.
Tired of their struggles on the highly regrettable side of history, the people of Abia cried with one voice for the very first time, a cry for help, a cry for redemption, a cry well heard by the hosts of heaven. Then their answer came forth, not as manna this time, but in flesh and blood. Dr. Okezie Victor Ikpeazu. On the 29th of May 2015, Dr. Okezie Victor Ikpeazu was sworn in as the new governor of Abia State.
I, My name is Okezie Victor Ipazu. I come from Abia, a little village in Obingwa local government. I started my education career at Army Central School. I moved on to Eziama High School, where I had a stint 2 years, and then moved over to EA High School. After my high school career, I gained admission into the University of Maiduguri, where I studied biochemistry. I had to return to University of Maiduguri after my NYSC in Port Harcourt to take a master's in other aspects of biochemistry, especially biochemical toxicology, and then proceeded to University of Calabar to pursue a doctorate degree in the same field. My primary vocation is teaching. I have taught in 4 different universities.
As a colleague, we did quite a number of work together, and because of his very hardworking nature, he even rose to become the head of department before he left. He is a dynamic young man and willing to make his contribution anywhere he finds himself.
Dr. Ipazu was determined to pass the information he has to his students. And every of my set who is watching this will attest to what I'm saying in this moment.
From a diligent university lecturer to politician, humbly starting off as a local government chairman, here comes a new dawn for Abia. A man who's got the experience, tested both in the classrooms and on the field.
My immediate past assignment was the Deputy General Manager of Abia State Environmental Protection Agency, from where I resigned to run for governorship of Abia State.
You see, a time came when the rubbish, the refuse in Aba became so bad, the condition was so precarious, to the extent that Aba people were going to riot.
The climax of his position was when he was the Deputy General Manager of ASEPA, which he did, performed very, very magically well. Abadan was almost being covered by heaps of rubbish, and that Aba appeared to be a place where nobody was able to have the formula to clean the debts. But until Okezie arrived.
He came up with so many methods. People were now bringing their rubbish to designated areas at particular set time.
He designed a system that debts were now being controlled. You dump the refuse in the evening and it was cleared in the day. Sometimes at the night when everybody was asleep, we saw people sweeping the street. We said, who is this man? Okezie Ipazu.
When I heard that he was contesting as a governor, I came to him, called him, said, okay, this is what I heard. He said it's true. I told him, okay, you cannot do anything. You can win, you can pass, but only be prayerful. Whatever is God's decision, that is what will take place.
I had always known him as a very brilliant person. So when he mentioned to me that he wanted to be governor, I didn't bother whether he would do well as a governor.
He's been innovative and creative in all this. So when he said he will be there, having been able to manage Aba and his refuse, which from 2009 till he came into that place, it was impossible. When he did that and succeeded, I knew that every other thing could flow, especially when he is in control. If he could do those things when someone else was in control, then when he will be in control, I didn't envisage any problem.
So at the time, the Ngwa people needed who will become the governor of Abia State from Ngwa extraction or from Okwangwa extraction. We started studying all the people that came up then. We saw an exceptional quality in Okezie Ikpeazu as an achiever, a man who could work from nothing. So we got interested in him and picked him as our candidate.
I had the privilege of knowing Dr. Ikpeazu even from when I was Speaker of Abia State, and he's a man with a common demeanor, a man who is easy to approach, a man who is calm, somebody who gives a listening ears, and probably that is from his background, his lectureship background. He has the understanding or the patience to hear people out. And I think that was one of the strongest attributes. I knew that with him, we would have a governor who would listen to people. I knew with him, we will have a governor who is a governor of the common man. And I also knew that with him, the gap between, given where he was coming from, that the gap between the very rich and the very poor will be bridged within the lifetime of his administration.
Another thing that must be mentioned about Okezie's system of governance is his humility and his awful nature of respect to God. Do you know he made it as a law to say, do not address me as His Excellency? I personally asked him, how do you want to change the mode with which we address our governors? He said, it's only God that is excellent. And it's only God that can decide who is excellent when, by His grace, we make heaven. Let nobody address me as Excellency until God says I am. And I tell you, that level of humility must not go without blessings from God.
Aba, the commercial nerve center of Abia State, famous for its Area international market, employing hundreds of thousands of people both young and old, worth billions of naira in net earnings.
Area, as you can see, is absolutely the Japan of Africa. If I may tell you, there is nothing you cannot see in this market. As we are talking here right now, there's nothing you want in this market you cannot get. For instance, the type of shoe you're putting on, this is your canvas right now. If you want it to be prepared instantly before the next 30 minutes, they have the machineries to do it.
Yet infamous for poor waste management and a poor drainage system.
The former government, not this present government, they built shop on top of the drainage, that is the gutter. And he has assured us in less than no time he's coming to destroy all those shops and repackage the whole place. So obviously, with Okezie Ikpeazu, we will go forward.
The governor has stopped people in the market collecting money from here and then. That is another benefit. Because if you were asked to pay, like keke operators, they used to pay inside this market 160 naira. Instead of them to go to the proper place and pay it, somebody will just come and collect it. But the present government have stopped it.
Within the first 2 weeks, he gave double taxation, the Aboro problem, a bloody nose. The Aboro people have all evaporated and condensed somewhere, I don't know.
We are going straight into digitalization of our tax system. Direct lodgement in the banks by, what I mean by that is that before taxes are levied, everybody would know what he or she is supposed to pay, and he can go, even using his phone, to pay his tax, and nobody on the street will embarrass you. Of course, the era of touts and nail-wedding young men running around the streets of Aba and Ofuonye has gone.
The litmus test of any leader of Abia must be seen in his roadmap to turn Aba around. If he gets it right in Aba, the rest of Abia will follow.
The right name of Aba should be Obi Igbo. There is no community in Igbo land There's no village, there's no hamlet in Igbo land that has no representative in Aba. Aba is the real Ali Igbo, the real Igbo land, the real Obi Igbo. And so, if you beautify Aba, you have beautified Igbo land. And I think that is what Dr. Okeze is going to achieve.
So I was motivated by the plight of the middle class to close the gap between the too rich and the too poor. And that is why I ventured into this race.
We couldn't have believed that if God was going to give us a king, that it was through him. But it has happened. Glory be to the Almighty God.
Driven by the magnitude of work to be done, but humbled by the love and trust reposed on him, he swings into action barely 24 hours after his official swearing in as the executive governor of Abia State.
We are active on 7 roads today in Aba. Ongoing, all of them. We have done one at Omule, this is the second one, and we are going to see the other 5. All of them will go on simultaneously in this town. Tomorrow, we will go to Umuahia and also flag off some roads there at Umuahia. I need you to soon be around. Chineke mee ebere, ebumnobi anyị la anyị imeta ya. Aba mmammanụ, delenu, mmammanụ, delenu. Ọ ga-eme anyị n'anya na otu ụzọ a ga-adị ma ịrụcha ya. Ya dịrị unu mma n'aha Jizọs.
Simultaneously, we are going to do 3 roads: Ehere Road, Umuahia Road, and Ukrebu Road. These are roads that are adjoining to Ikotemere Road and Umuahia Road, which are part of where the gridlock occurs.
What we are doing here is of a scope of expanding this road to a carriage width of 13 meters. So the sides we have drainages of 60 cm by 60 cm, in to in. Professionally, that's what we say. Now, we started from somewhere before the Seventh-day Adventist Church because that's the initial kickstart. Now, there's a team coming from up there, from Obikabia Junction. Our target is Umuobiakwano as first phase, after which we are to continue to Umuahia. This is old road linking Aba and Umuahia. We have a total span of 13 kilometers covering from Obikabia Junction to Umuobiakwa. We've done earthwork, as you can see, carrying only the shoulders, which is the extent we need to expand it to 13 meters. It used to be 7.3, and we are adding the extra both ways to get 13 meters.
This road starts from Bende to Idimabam. It's around 7 kilometers road. So we have a drain. We are going to construct drain. We are going to build the road so that it will be drain to drain to avoid failures. And the road was commissioned by Dr. Okeze, the governor of Abia State. So what we are doing now is call it earthwork. We have a very bad topography because this is just a virgin road. So we have to excavate the mud and fill with sharp sand for stability. So that's what we are doing now. So we have one bridge, a big bridge at the kilometer of 3, and we have 8 culverts, which we are going to construct. There was no road here before. It was just like a bush track because they go to farm from the bush track. There was no road here before.
The people are very, very appreciative. Some even come here thanking us in persons, despite the fact that we are removing some illegal structures, those that are encroaching into the path of the road. They simply just obey.
The people are very happy. In fact, every day they keep on thanking us that God will bless the new government of Abia State.
unique thing about our road infrastructure at the moment is that we are doing the cemetery rigid pavement technology, where we compact our roads and then lay 4-inch concrete and then do a BROC or metal mesh on the concrete and then cap it with another 6-inch concrete before asphalting. The idea is to tie up the roads to the drainages and make sure that we can have roads that can give us a lifespan of minimum of 20 years. And some of those roads are complete to the glory of God, and I think our people are excited.
All the roads that was built by previous administration hardly last more than 3 months. The man had to come up with a novelty, that is constructing roads that will endure both time and weather. And he had to resort to the use of cement, what you can only see in airport tarmac.
This is Ofuonye Road by Okigwe.
Asking me how this area looked like before now, I cannot just explain, because if I may say, it was just a kind of rejected area. Dilapidated. There was nothing like a movement. No coming in, no going out. All the residents here were like forgotten.
In fact, this Ofuonye Road I know is not anything to write home about before. It's more or less a dumping ground. It's not good it's not good enough to trek or motorable.
Erosion everywhere. Nobody, as they said, no gentleman in Aba, but here is number one.
Initially, this is like a dustbin road, a road that has not been constructed in Aba. We decided to choose this road based on the nature to demonstrate what we want. You know, a dustbin road that lasted for 50 years, you can imagine how the soil will be. A decayed soil, we pull it out and replace it with a treated laterite. You know, to be honest to you, the people around here didn't believe that something like this. They saw the picture we put up, they laughed. They didn't believe that it is true. Because many a time, many government has failed them. So I didn't bother myself trying to convince them we are real, we are not real. I just keep quiet and continue doing what we are doing. But when they see that we have started the drainage, they say, this drainage looks different from what we have been seeing. Oh. Everybody come to look at the drainage, how the thickness of the drainage, the design of the drainage. They say, maybe these people really mean it. Oh.
We've had many governors, we've had many councillors, we've had many chairmen. They will drive in and promise because of a political ambition which they have. They will promise you, if I'm being voted in, I'll do this, I'll do that. But you will see that after they are being voted in, it's like they will just forgot their promise. They will just fly away. I will not say run away. If I say run away, it is not complete. They will just fly away. When the work commenced, they told me that it's like something's about to happen.
They started seeing the earthwork. They thought maybe after the red mud, we put asphalt. When we finish the red mud, then we go into stone base. They say, already putting another stone again. So these people are not going to put asphalt on it. Then when they see us rafting the irons on the ground, they say they never see this one before. We lay the iron, wrapped it very well on the ground as if they are doing a decking of a house. We start to pour concrete. They say, wow, that is when they believe that something different is happening. And if you watch the thickness of our concrete, it's not just concrete. We determine a thickness of not less than 6 inches. Some places it goes to 10 inches, depending on the nature of the road.
Me as a layman, I don't know anything, but this road can serve us more than 50 years. Because they did road, did cement, and also tarred road.
What we are seeing today is a kind of, do I say, revival. If I put it that way, I would say it's another statement. What I know is that God has remembered these residents living within this area today.
The type of construction they did here, in fact, I don't know. It's just like I can say Julius Berger or something, they are coming. But I can see that they are very, 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 very intelligent, and they do this job very fine, that everybody is joy.
we are coming to commission this road to be done by the governor of our great state, the governor for the common people, who knows the needs of his people. That's why we are here. We are waiting for him to come and commission this Ofuonye road that has been bad for so many years, and the people living within the neighborhood have been suffering.
Today is another day in our life in Abia because this road has been abandoned for the past 20 to 30 good years, but today is alive again.
The difference and the beauty about this road is made with the specialized and very sterling quality technology, which is the cement technology, which Abia State is the state that is evangelizing cement technology in Nigeria.
In the name of the Father, Amen. And of the Son, Amen. And of the Holy Spirit.
If I say I feel happy, no, I say I'm more than over, because today the residents of this area will now breathe, they will laugh, they will smile, they will feel a bit remembered, because today within this area all these buildings now look lively. Once these buildings were dead, but today they have resurrected. I mean the buildings here, I'm not talking about the residents, the buildings were dead. But today, because of this road, the look of this road has resurrected all the buildings to a new look.